Hello everyone, I'm Rue and I would like to welcome you back to my channel, Rue with Books. I hope you have a nice beverage at hand so you can sit back, relax, and hear me talk about books. This is my second Talking Books episode, and if you don't know, this series is an opportunity for me to talk about the books that I have read, whether I reviewed them on my channel or not, talk about what I am currently reading, and talk about what I plan to read soon. Before I get into all of the books I have read, please take a second to like this video for the algorithm. If you like books and want more book content on YouTube, be sure to click that subscribe button too. It would mean the absolute world to me. So, to kick off the What Have I Read Recently section, I'd like to start with Making Money by Terry Pratchett, which is I guess the oldest book that I've read in this section. I'll be doing it in chronological order. So this book is a part of the Discworld universe. If you don't know what the Discworld is, it's essentially a disc on a giant turtle floating through space. Very, very crazy, right? Discworld is a series of standalone books which are satires on many different topics, ranging from civil service to music, banking, pretty much anything that exists and can be joked about. The defining feature of Pratchett's works is that he writes very absurd characters who have silly little quirks here and there that make them memorable. Discworld books are kind of like a warm, snuzzy blanket on a cold winter evening. They are something you can go back to for comfort, all while expanding your worldview, as there is a lot of social commentary that goes on as you read the books. This novel is the second entry to the Moist von Lipwig series, and following the success of his work at the post office, Moist is given another job by Vetinari to see the royal mint of Ankh-Morpork brought back to success. The book follows the events that lead to the failure of the most important bank in the city. It gives a satire of the banking industry, all while bringing about a cast of absolutely lovable, silly characters, some new and some old. The true chairman of the mint is a dog, Mr. Fusspot, and on the event of its death, members of the Assassin's Guild will set upon murdering Lipwig. The stakes are pretty high to make sure that he's successful. The book features Vetinari, Mrs. Deerhart, members of the post office, members of the City Watch, the Lavishes, and more. This book has an alright plot, but it's more about the character journey. I really enjoyed it, and if you would like to hear me talk more about my thoughts on the book, you can check out the full review, which I will leave a card for. So next up, I have Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell. I picked up this book at the library with absolutely no biases other than this sounds like I could enjoy it, might be alright. I've never ever heard anyone talk about it, and I'm super glad I did pick it up because it ended up being one of the best books I have read this year. I absolutely loved it. It follows the members of a jazz slash folk slash blues fusion band. Kind of a bit of everything that kind of like they make kind of like melancholic life events kind of music, right? It follows the events that lead to the band's formation, how they became a commercial success, as well as the hiccups of life along the way. This book is very much about the human experience, where each character over the course of the story has their own character arc, dealing with and overcoming their own traumas, all while having music be kind of like a creative outlet to help them process those traumas. Um, each one of the main band members, apart from the drummer, writes their own songs and does does the lyrics and vocals for them. So whatever trauma or sad thing that's happened to them uh, is conveyed into their own song that the band then kind of like fills in the gaps for with instrumentals and stuff, and kind of has like a group effort into polishing and whatnot. It's really, really great. The characters in this book are all incredible. We have Elf, the keyboardist and a vocalist. She deals with sexism, deals with life and death, deals with expectations in the industry and um, pop culture and like celebrity. Um, yeah, with the kind of like the expectations of being a woman in the industry at the time. It seems that there was lots of female vocalists back then, so the expectations would be that she is just able to sing. She's the voice of the band, and she would not play an instrument. But she says hell no to that, and she's an absolute virtuoso, absolutely amazing on the keyboards. So she subverts expectations and allows a new norm to kind of flourish. Then we have Dean the bassist, and he is also a vocalist who his kind of character arc deals with poverty, being at rock bottom, the kind of rock and roll lifestyle, debauchery, drugs, and a whole lot more. Um, he has some very, very crazy events that happen to him throughout the story. And you're gonna have to read to find out what happens to him because oh my god, it's his character stories is so good. We have Griff, the drummer. He is a northerner and gives a little bit of northern twang to the band, a little bit of humor and jokes. I'm not going to spoil his character arc, but it is pretty sad, pretty unfortunate, and it is traumatic. Then we have Jasper, the guitarist. He is incredible on the guitar. He is compared to like Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton. So he's incredible on the guitar. He also does vocals for songs that he writes. His character arc kind of deals with love, mental illness, and navigating life and fame as a neurodiverse person. The mental illness storyline was one of the greatest sub stories I have ever read in fiction, with high stakes and an incredibly mind bending twist that I just would have never seen coming, honestly. I think out of all of the band members in this book, Jasper was probably my favorite because he's someone that you can trust. He deals with some absolutely depressing, crazy stuff, and he just has a very, very difficult, different, strange, unique life. This book has some amazing character interactions. It's loud, it's brash at times, while also having these amazing, beautiful, tender moments. It explores how amazing music is and how it allows people to connect on a weird, very different, strange, unique level to anything else. And yeah, I have made a full video review about Utopia Avenue. So if you're interested and you'd like to hear more without any spoilers, I have left a card that you can click and it will redirect you to the full review for this book that I've made. So the final book that I have read is Will of the Many by James Islington. Will of the Many is an incredible start to the Hierarchy series, which follows Viz, a royal orphan who is forced to go kind of like undercover and infiltrate society because he is the last remaining member of a basically eliminated royal family. And yeah, so he refuses to follow the hierarchy's rules. Through certain circumstances, Viz is able to attend an incredibly prestigious academy within this society that promises high rank after graduation, so long as the attendees of this academy can live through the experience. This book was incredibly exciting to read. It follows the story formula of like a character starting at the bottom and rising to the top, following them through various trials and tribulations. Viz is also forced to act as a puppet of multiple masters, having additional side quests pretty much that he has to complete during his time at the academy, whilst not blowing his cover between those multiple factions. The action in this book was incredibly well written, with a great magic system that was teased and left to fully explore in later novels. That's because use of the magic, it's called will, by the way, is not allowed at the academy because a person's position in society essentially dictates how much will they are kind of possess. So to give all the students somewhat more equal footing, they're not allowed to use will and have to navigate school life um, without using will. It has some great mysteries that are brought up but not fully explored in the first book, leading to a desire to pick up the next books when they come out. And well enough, the next book, I believe, is due for release in November 2025, so it's not too long of a wait now. I really enjoyed this book, and once again, I have made a full video review for it. So if you're interested and want to give it a watch to hear my full thoughts, I have left a card that you can click, which will redirect you to that video. As you saw in that little transition, now I am up to the currently reading section of this Talking Books episode. The only book in the section that I'm going to talk about, because it's the only book that I'm currently reading, although I'm very, very, very close to finishing it, is Wrath by John Gwynne. So in the previous Talking Books episode, I had this down on my plan to read, but I said that I didn't know whether I was going to read that or Demon Copperhead first. I opted for this because I just really wanted to finish the series. I literally just had one book left, right? So might as well. I'm not going to say too much about the plot or what is going on for fear of extreme spoilers because it is quite a lengthy series. Instead, I will just mention what I liked about the book. So there has been like a lot of tug of war with the characters. You can't really predict what is going to happen next on a micro scale. I do think that the macro stuff, the stuff that has been building up for a long time, is kind of predictable. But yeah, so I've grown pretty attached to the characters because the series is so long. There's like over 2,000 pages or something. And so it's great to see them both succeed and fail on whatever adventures they're going on at the time. And it provokes an emotional response. The writing is kind of basic, so the action scenes are very easy to follow, which is a good thing. And I like that the writing is kind of basic because sometimes flowery language can kind of get in the way of what is fully going on. The magic system has finally been utilized. It's something that's been teased in the previous books, but not really dove into too much. And I enjoyed those parts. They were pretty exciting, and the actual scenes of what was happening there was really, really great. I'm currently about 80% in, so I'm finally getting to the climax of the story. So far, I've not been disappointed. I'm getting like the full culmination of everything that's happened so far. Blood scores are being settled, plots are being foiled. It's incredibly fast paced, and just so much is going on. That's the thing, because the book has so many POVs. There's like not ever really a lull in the moment, a lull in what's going on. For example, after a big action sequence for one character, there might be like a moment of respite, right? But then it goes straight into a different character, and that other character is having their own plan that they're enacting, and then they have a moment of respite, and then it goes into the next character, and they're then having like a big action moment. So by having so many characters, the pacing of the action is just so choppy and rapid. So if you like action sequences in fantasy, um, you'll probably enjoy it. Um, this series is quite low magic, so it has more of a focus on the physical sword and shield kind of action. Um, but yeah, I might get around to making a full series review soon, so keep an eye out for that. This book was in my previous Talking Books episode Plan to Read section, and I haven't quite gotten round to it yet. But once I finish Wrath, this is the next book that I plan to read, so I am finally getting there. It's about someone that starts at rock bottom in society, having no material wealth attached to them. They have to navigate foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic success, addiction, disastrous loves, and crushing losses. These are things that so many of us go through. So it's a book that is really much about the human experience. One that is going to be an absolute emotional roller coaster and will probably emotionally crush me. So I very much I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice as well to get a bit of a break from fantasy. I like to do like fantasy, not fantasy, so on and so forth, just to switch things up and not get burnt out. It's also going to be my library weekend, so I plan to pick up a random mystery book. And when I say mystery book, I don't mean a book that is of the mystery genre. I mean, I just have no bloody clue what that book is going to be at the time of me recording this video. I am finally going to be getting around to starting my Cosmere journey. It's been kind of a goal of mine to get around to reading this series in 2025. In fact, it was the last of my series goals for 2025, so I've smashed out everything else. So it looks like I will manage to check off the last of my reading goals for this year, bar the volume of books. Mistborn is set in a world where the Dark One won the great battle between good and evil, and the Chosen One lost. What follows is a world covered in ash where flowers don't bloom. It follows Kelsier, who is essentially getting together a group of elite allomancers hidden deep within the country's underworld to pull off one crazy plan that might be able to overthrow the tyrant ruler. It's kind of a bit like Suicide Squad. I've been saying that a lot recently. So yeah, their plan, it might be crazy, but it is a long shot. He also meets someone called Vin, who seems to have some great power, which could increase their odds a lot. And Kelsier needs to kind of tutor Vin to be able to become their trump card. So there's going to be some kind of like training arc, and should be some interesting character interactions and growth there. Having read so much of the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne recently, which is a sword and shield fantasy with pretty low magic, I'm very excited to get into something which is a bit more high magic. I've been having a bit of a craving for it. I will probably make a review for the first Mistborn book and then do a full series review after finishing the first one. Sorry, after finishing the final one, but who knows, maybe I'll do the in-between book as well. I just feel like doing the in-between book, it's very hard to make a good review of it without delving into spoilers, but you can generally sum up a lot of things in the final one. But anyway, who knows? I'll see how I feel on that. Up next on the TBR is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. What I like to do to pace out my fantasy series is read a book in between, at least if the books are pretty long. So my buffer book in between Mistborn 1 and 2 is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I don't read much crime, although I did read Poirot recently, which I really enjoyed. The Poirot book I read was a short story collection. But yeah, so reading this absolute classic should be a good, fun time, and give me a good flavor of the genre, because it's like a cornerstone of the genre, right? This book is also in the public domain now, so anyone that wants to read it can acquire a copy for free. I've heard the way that in which Sherlock reads into people and makes assumptions about them and solves crime is also very different and unique. So I look forward to experiencing that. So yeah, that sums up my reading for the last few weeks, and also gives you a glimpse into what I plan to read and what videos I might be making. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, so this has covered the books that I've read since the last Talking Books episode. If you've read any of these books, do let me know what you thought. I would also love to hear what you're currently reading, so write that down in the comment section below. I'd be very intrigued. But yeah, until next time, Rue out.